Here we go again. Country Garden just missed a $60 million plus bond repayment. And as you probably already know, Country Garden is struggling. And currently it's looking like it's going down the same route as Evergrande, which is to an eventual bankruptcy. So what I want to do in this video is I want to cover the missed payment. I want to cover some future debt that it has due very soon. And I want to talk about what the company said itself, because what the company said itself kind of shows the direction that it most likely is headed. And it's not a good direction. So let's bring you an update on Country Garden and what's going on. As always, my name is Derek and I got my degree in finance. You don't have to. Let's talk about this stuff. So first and foremost, right off the bat, Country Garden's sales. Remember, it is a real estate developer, okay, one of the largest ones in China. Country Garden sales are down 80% in September as opposed to 1 year ago. 80%. That is massive. Okay, so already right there puts it in a very tight liquidity position, because if it can't sell, it can't make money. If it can't make money, it can't pay its debt. Okay, so that is the situation that it's in. On top of that, Country Garden has $180 billion plus of outstanding debt. Compare this to Evergrande. Evergrande was almost $100 billion higher, making it the most in-debt company in China. So $180 billion, that's a lot of money, right? Now, the main thing that we have to talk about here is not just the missed payment that it just missed, but also future payments that are currently due. So remember, most of these payments have a 30-day grace period, okay? So it missed a $60 million payment. This just happened, okay? It has from everything that I understand, it has a 30-day grace period, just like it did back in September, or excuse me, in August, and the grace period ran out in September. So this already just happened less than a month or two ago. What makes this different is what the company said, and I will talk about that here in a second. But first, I want to set the stage. So it missed a $60 million debt payment. On top of that, it has a next payment of $15 million. This is what's basically what people are calling a debt test to see if it'll be able to pay it. $15 million due on October 17th. That's a little less than a week away, or about a week away. All right. So setting the stage, $180 billion in debt, already missed a payment, has $15 million more due on October 17th. It has close to $10 billion in dollar-denominated debt. That means debt in US dollars. It has over $15 billion of international debt. All right. And so far on this news of the most recent missed payment, the stock is down about 10%. Now, what makes this situation interesting and what makes it different than the last time is that the company itself has said that it does not expect to meet some or all of its offshore debt when due or within the grace period. So what the company is signaling to the market is that it is most likely not going to be able to pay its debt when they are due or during the grace period. So what does that mean for the current $60 million debt? It means that even though that there is a 30-day grace period, we might as well consider this debt good as defaulted on, because it is most likely going to miss its grace period due date, which is in 30 days. Okay. Another thing to note is that home sales in general across China are in the tanks. They are slumping. People are not buying houses. Not only that, Country Garden and Evergrande, they have both done what's known as pre-sales, which is basically selling non-finished homes. Okay, so they have a lot of homes to deliver to customers who paid up front for these homes, yet they are having a liquidity crisis. So the situation in general is dire, to say the least. I don't believe that we are at risk of contagion, which is what most people want to know. Is this going to spread to the rest of the world? Is this going to spread to America? I don't think we are at risk currently, although if this spreads to the rest of the Chinese economy, that can then spread to the rest of the world, because the world is very interconnected with the Chinese economy. It is not so much interconnected with Chinese real estate directly. There is less than $500 million of investment, foreign U.S. investment, so 500 million and below. That is a drop in the bucket. But we are very tied into the Chinese economy as a whole. So if there's contagion here and that spreads to the rest of the Chinese economy, that we could feel its effects, okay? Because you have to remember, and I did a video on this. If you want to watch the video, there's a very good video explaining how all this came to be. It started all the way back in 1999. This is a very long story to get to where we are. The point is, The Chinese economy, 1/3 of every GDP dollar comes directly from real estate. So we think of China as an exporting powerhouse, which it is. But this section of their economy fueled a lot of its growth, and this section is right now taking a huge hit. So we have to monitor this. In my opinion, Country Garden on its overarching debt is as good as defaulted, and if something doesn't happen, it is on the same path as Evergrande was 2 years ago. And it took Evergrande a couple of years to get to a bankruptcy, but Country Garden looks like it's going on that same path. It is in the initial stages where Evergrande was 2 years ago. So we have to monitor this. We have to see if it's able to pay its $60 million payment within its grace period, which is, to everything that I've been able to research, 30 days. And then we'll have to see if it's able to pay its $15 million due on October 17th. The company itself is saying that it's most likely not going to be able to do that. So let's monitor this. Let's see where this happens. Worst case scenario, this heads towards a bankruptcy. That is, when you look at it just by itself as a line item, not a big problem for the global economy. What is a problem is that this company gets financing and funds from the same investment firms and banks that fund other ventures in the Chinese economy. And if they experience a liquidity crisis and they cannot pay on $180 billion of debt, that is less funds flowing to other ventures in other places in the economy, because the same banks fund other ventures. So there's a risk of contagion. Also, if you have 1 in every 3 of your GDP coming from the real estate sector, and the real estate sector is struggling, that means everyone who works in the real estate sector is struggling. Country Garden's employees are struggling. And remember, less spending slows economies. So that is more so the risk. This is a singular company, but it shows and it highlights what's going on in the overarching real estate sector in China. And it goes to show what can happen when you have over leverage and you overbuild and you do not have buyers to be able to buy your goods. So we have to monitor this. I will provide you with further updates. It's very interesting to see where this goes. We kind of saw this coming a couple months ago. It narrowly avoided a true default and was able to pay its bond payments within the 30-day grace period. We'll see if that happens this time. But because the one thing that the company said that is leading me to doubt that that is going to be able to happen is that it itself does not expect to meet some or all of its offshore debt within due or when due or within grace periods. Okay, so that is most likely going to translate to all of its debt. So we'll continue to see what happens. And again, this is a very, very interesting story that's developing in China. Although it is halfway around the world for most of us, it directly affects the global economy if it spreads to the rest of the Chinese economy, which the United States and the rest of the world is very interlinked with. So anyways, as always, my name is Derek, and I got my degree in finance, so you don't have to. If you found this video helpful or informative at all, please consider subscribing. It does help the channel a ton. This is a relatively new YouTube channel, and it is something that I'm very passionate about, and I want to continue to share my knowledge and my expertise in the finance field with you guys. And not only that, I want to learn something from you guys, because I do not have a chip on my shoulder, and I always say that this channel is a conversation. So I don't think I'm smarter. I don't think I'm better. There are people way smarter than me, and I can always learn something from other people. So I hope to do so, and I hope to provide you with some knowledge as well. And don't forget to turn on the bell notification. Usually videos come out every Tuesdays, but sometimes we do a video on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday when some major news like this happens. All right, you guys, I hope you're having a great day. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.